Mình giận mèo pal.
Alan, is that staph?
Is that what?
Staph infection. I'm just, I know you're not, you're clean.
Karyn.
You're clean.
I'm going for the raw look. I didn't have my glam squad here today.
I know.
So.
No, I feel bad for Kevin Lee, man. That's rough.
I don't even know. Fill me in because okay. I need to know.
I will. Okay, so welcome to the MMA podcast. I'm Karyn Bryant.
I was gonna say, by the way, that's her name. She's Karyn. I'm Alan. In case you had it.
And he doesn't have staph.
Yeah. No, I don't.
You did get touched up at the gym, though, didn't you? You did a little bit.
Whatever, you know. Everybody gets touched up.
Yeah. How is you were at Black House this morning?
Black House wrestling. It was a good class, man. Kenny Johnson, Bubba, Jenkins, everybody was there today. Good work.
Good, nice. And we might hear from Kenny. You know, we're trying to figure out a way to work Kenny Johnson into this podcast a little bit here and there, and we might be able to do it on this one, but it might not be today. It might be in the future. But
yeah, Kenny has been ranting lately. We got a little bit of it on video. We're just trying to get that piece together so you guys could view it. We might not have it today, though.
Yeah, who was somebody? Was it Werdum that just gave him a shout out the other day after he won? I feel like Kenny was getting a shout out after one of the wins.
A lot of it. Cobrinha, after winning ADCC, gave Kenny a lot of love, and then Tony Ferguson. After his victory,
Tony was talking about it.
Turning over a new leaf. Tony Ferguson. He went from the heel to the very modest, respectful father. Yeah. That gives shout outs to his gym. So thank you for the shout out though to Black House and to Kenny Johnson.
Yeah, that was cool. Okay, so let's talk about. Obviously, we want to talk about UFC 216. There was the two title fights there, so I guess we could start with the headliner because I feel like DJ's achievement is so momentous. But since it wasn't the main event, maybe we'll work. Yeah. We'll work back. So Kevin Lee supposedly has had staph infection, and he got cleared by the doctors. They all cleared him, but he admitted after the fact that he had it. So I don't know if you saw there was a little something that looked like it was growing. I don't know if it was H.E.A.T growing out for Total Recall.
Is that it right there on his left chest? Okay.
Yeah, start the reactor. You got anybody? Total Recall? You've never seen Total Recall?
Oh, yeah.
H.E.A.T comes out of his stomach. I mean, I know that's not really.
I mean, that's not my favorite part. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Total Recall. But.
Oh, you like the three. Really? Don't you just want a girl to have boots on her back, though? Isn't that where girls really should have them? Because if you're going for the hug, then that way... they should be on the back.
I like the way you think like a man, Karyn.
I'm here to help you guys.
Yeah. Good thought.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so he got cleared, and he was admitting that he was trying to hide it and stuff. So that's obviously going to help him tire out much more quickly in that fight. Right. Obviously, that's going to hurt him. You know, he didn't make weight Friday morning. They gave him an hour, and he made the weight. You know, we saw him earlier in the week, and DJ was teasing about the weight cut, but Kevin was pretty diligent, just eating his chicken and his lettuce and stuff. But I mean, that's a lot going into it. But he said basically that he didn't want. Wasn't going to let this opportunity go. You know what I mean? So he was going to do whatever it took to get there and to try to diminish the staph, try to downplay the staph infection. But again, the UFC doctors cleared him. So I don't know. You guys know better than I how that spreads on the mats and stuff, and what kind of threat that actually was to Tony in there rolling around with him. But even with staph infection, I thought that Kevin put up a really good fight. As long as he did, I thought he had a lot of really good moments in there.
Into the first round. I mean, look how strong he looked.
For sure. But going into this fight, you and I both had picked Tony. It just seemed like he had too many weapons and too much.
A more proven fighter,
and that he wasn't going to stress out in there. But I thought it was a really good fight.
Yeah, well, first off, this is kind of news to me. I didn't, the night of the fights, I was cornering some of my fighters, so I was watching the fights in between fights on a phone, so I didn't get all the insight. So I didn't even realize that Kevin Lee had staph infection, and that was an issue. That was something that I'm assuming he brought up in the post-fight interview?
Afterwards. Well, because everybody talking about it during the fight, which you couldn't hear, is that Joe and everybody's
they were saying, like, what is that
what's going on? Yeah, so
interesting.
It was a topic of conversation during the fight.
That's interesting. Sure. I mean, the thing with staph infection is everybody always, not everybody, I don't want to say everybody always, but like now and then, I'm a very clean guy when it comes to the gym. I like to shower right after. I put all my training gear in one place. I wash my sandals in the shower with me.
Yeah.
You know, especially having a kid running around at home. But you always kind of have like a little dot here and there that are like mild forms of this or that. I don't know how severe his was, but once it gets severe and you get on the antibiotics, that's when it starts really drawing the energy out, shutting. You know, if you've been on antibiotics, you know that you're quite your same self. So I don't know if he was on antibiotics yet. Nonetheless, staph infection can diminish some of your energy, depending on the severity of it and depending on what medication he was in. But going into the fight, he's not going to drop this opportunity. He made 250 grand right there, and everybody knows who he is. And I thought he did a really good job promoting it and fighting. He finished the first round very strong. He was in a mounted position, dropping bombs on Tony. Tony weathered the storm nicely. You didn't ever see Tony looking like, oh shit, I'm in a bad place. He's like, okay, I'm in a bad place, but I will get out of it. I've been here before. Tony knows how to scramble, and he came back and proved why he's such a tough competitor, because he kind of just, he said like, I knew that like he was going to slow down. I'm just going to weather the storm, and eventually I'll find my positions, my submissions. And I got to give a little. So if you guys are wondering what was going on here.
I was going to say the 10.
I'll give you my hint. She might have to explain hers.
Yes.
This is the 10. I was throwing up the 10 for 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. Tony is a 10th Planet guy. I'm a 10th Planet guy. So giving him a little love. The first ever 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu UFC champion. Congrats to you, Tony. And the thing that's so impressive is not only did he win, not only did he submit the guy, but he did so off of his back. And we never see that anymore in the UFC.
Other than Brian Ortega with the T-City, you know what I mean?
Ortega, yes, exactly.
But you don't see
Ortega's a special guy, but submissions in the UFC have become a lot more of a top game type thing. Catching a guy and the high percentages, the darces, the guillotines. The bottom submissions have been few and far between. You don't really see that many guard pulling, or not guard pulling, but guard type arm bars or triangle submissions in the UFC, because everybody knows, even if you're not offensively that smart with your submission game, everybody knows how to defend the submission.
I was just going to say, and you can sense the danger.
Exactly.
Even if you're a white belt, you know, oh, that's not good.
And Tony's not known for his guard game. He's a very good top game submission guy, but he's not known for his guard game. But he was throwing up pressure the entire fight from the bottom.
For sure. Well, and one of the first times, actually I should bring it back for a throwback video. One of the first times we talked to Tony was down at 10th Planet, and he was rolling, and we had some great stuff with him, and then he was teaching other people. So I might want to bring that one back. But yeah, I thought you know, Tony would pull out a Darce. Like, that's kind of how I thought he was going to win it. And I think that he did do very well off his back. Like, you know, again, we always know that Tony gets hurt. He gets in these dangerous positions, and he looks like sometimes that he's going to be in real trouble, and he's able to weather the storm. And again, that's that whole idea of him having that composure of being, you know, maybe not in title fights before, but being a main eventer before, going 5 rounds before, having that presence to know where the threat is.
Being rocked a lot of times, knowing how to come back from that.
Exactly. And so Kevin also, you know, this was a lot newer of an experience to him, but I agree with you. He did a really good job selling this fight. He was great in all of the media stuff that we had to do with him. I mean, the guy is, I don't even want to say a future star, because I think he's here now. Like, I think he's got some star power already now, but I really do believe that he's got such a great future ahead of him. He's only going to obviously get better as a fighter. He's already got skills that can complement it off outside of the fighting. But he did say that he might be going up to your weight class, because he was saying that, you know, it's a little harder for him to make this weight now, because he's still, you know, he's only 25, but so he's still kind of growing into his man body, I guess. And so he said, you know, the weight cut, it is harder for him. He's you know, growing up, growing bigger or whatever, so that it might be the type of thing where he has to go up in weight. But I think, you know, if they did have more weight classes in the UFC, he's maybe a guy who should fight at 160 or 165. You know what I mean? He may be, because he's not super tall, so he may end up not being the tallest guy in your division, but he might be one of those little powerhouses. So that'll be interesting to see if he does move up to 70. But I love me some. I love me some Tony Ferguson. Like, I just do. I think he's awesome, and he's such a character. But it was funny because I have to say, you know, leading up to this, you know, Tony gets in that zone that we know that sometimes you're like, what is he saying?
What is he thinking? Is he the heel, or is this really him, or is he playing a character?
And you're going on, you're like, what did you say? Okay. So sometimes Tony can be a little obtuse and a little strange, which I feel like is his charm. But afterwards, when we talked to him on Fox and we did the post-fight interview, he was so, like, I don't want to say normal, but that's like, it was funny because you could tell it was like, just joy. And he was so happy and he had achieved this great thing.
He was letting things like roll off his back.
And it was like, I'm so happy he did that because I feel like there's a lot of people who don't like him because of the stuff that he says. And I feel like that interview afterwards, for those who thought he was this or that, cringy people say, which I think is so stupid, that brought them back and they were like, oh, it's just stuff he said to like get hyped for the fight. Like, he's a good dude.
It's either his kind of character heel that he plays the part of going into the fight, or it's just the competitive side of him. Maybe when he knows he's in competition and he kind of has his guard up, he's very guarded.
No pun intended.
Excuse me. And that's the character that he plays. But you saw once he got the victory, he was a total different guy when you guys were speaking to him on Fox. He kept speaking about his son. He spoke that he said that he spoke to Ali and Werdum in the back and squashed the beef with them. He had high praise for Kevin. I really enjoyed seeing that out of Tony after the fight.
Me too. And again, it's just like he's worked so hard. He's got a 10-fight win streak now. In that division, we know is ridiculous. So all props to him. I hope that he gets Conor next. I hope there's no bull crap. Not that a Khabib fight would be bull crap, but at this point, Tony has earned just a straight up unification fight. I don't really see how, if you have a champion in Conor and an interim champion in Tony, how Khabib would be able to work his way in there. I just don't think it's right. Not that he's not a great fighter, and not that I don't want to see him fight either of these guys, but I think you got to do the unification. That's what makes sense to me.
This was a great move for the UFC, in my opinion. Before, Conor was kind of like the champion who didn't defend his belt. Now he's in other sports. Who would he fight? Would it be Nate Diaz? Would he go up in weight? Would he go down in weight? Is it going to be a super fight? It was just like, it wasn't true to the ranking system, and everybody was doing what they wanted for the money. Now we have an extremely exciting fight that makes perfect sense. We've got the two guys have belts, and two guys deserve it, and this would be a hell of a fight. Tony and Conor. Everybody would want to see it.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and it's a massive payday for both men. And anytime you have two belts, it just adds a little extra bling to the card.
For sure, it'd be great. Those two will talk up a storm. I still think Conor can fight Nate. I'll watch that. That can happen whenever.
It's just not as enticing anymore because Nate doesn't have the belt. Nate's kind of out of the picture now.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is that if that does happen, it can't be for Conor's belt. You know what I mean? It's a fun fight and it's interesting. It's 1-1, but I don't think that makes sense for it to be for Conor's belt. So yeah, it's got to be at a catchweight or a non-title fight or whatever. Khabib is talking about trying to fight at, I guess, at the end of the year. He maybe wants to try to get on that December card at the end of the year. So I would love to see Khabib back in action. I just really believe it should not be against either Tony or Conor. I think those two need to fight each other.
No, he needs to come back, and it doesn't matter what your win streak is. It's what have you done for me lately in the UFC? And he has done nothing lately.
No, he's been out for a long time, and they tried to book him versus Tony like 3 times.
He's messed up. He needs to come back and earn his stripes. So he needs to go in there and get a tough guy like a Gaethje.
Gaethje and Eddie Alvarez are going to fight each other. So that maybe the winner of that. But Khabib did tweet and congratulate Tony afterwards or whatever. So that was good of him. I mean, I guess really that's what it comes down to, is I just wish Khabib were more active, and that's the whole thing. It's like, he is such a fun fighter to watch, and he does have this great, he's got all of a whole country behind him. He's got all of that. So it just feels like a little bit of a tease that we don't really actually get to see him fight that much. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's just kind of this overlord that hangs over.
It's kind of like the argument that DC always had for John Jones, like, you could be the best fighter in the world, but there's other things to fighting than just stepping in the cage. You have to do everything outside of the cage. You have to make the weight, not do other stuff. So, and that's just a problem that he's had. He's had problems outside of the cage, making weight, staying healthy, etc. He needs to get everything on point because we want to see him fight. But right now, he's out of the picture in my mind. Nate Diaz, love watching him fight. Him and Conor McGregor, I agree. I would watch that fight in a heartbeat, but he's out of the picture in my mind. With Tony's performance and the momentum that he's had thus far, now that he has a strap, this is the fight that I think is a bigger fight than any fight in the UFC.
I think so too. What do you think was going through Tony's mind when he heard that Kevin missed weight at first? Do you think that he was seriously like, "Are you kidding me?
Is this happening again?
Are you kidding me?" Right
but
he could have still fought for the title, right? Because Tony makes it right.
Exactly. So if Kevin would not have, and you know what would have been going through my mind. I'm thinking, okay, so if Kevin doesn't make weight, I could still fight for the strap. If I win, I get it. If he wins, he does not get it, and I'm getting 20% of his 200. What's 20% of 250 grand? Do the math real quick. 50 grand?
No, 10% is 2,000. 10%. No, well, no, 10% is 25. So
yeah.
So it's 50.
50. Is it 20% or 10%? Either way, you're getting a nice little bonus to go take your wife out to eat a Sunday brunch the next day. So that's what I would be thinking. But either way, I'm sure that was a little bit of a scare. Kevin stepped up and made the weight, so that was good.
Yeah, no, that was good. So congratulations, I feel like, to both of those guys. That was a really good fight. But I, in our thumbnail, was holding up an 11.
What was that? Can you guys figure out what was... What
that is
what importance would that have?
I can't even, how am I going to do DJ? I can't even, I don't know my backwards letters. DJ. That is for Mighty Mouse, Demetrious Johnson.
The GOAT? There's no more, there's no more argument.
Okay, so 11 straight title defenses obviously beats Anderson Silva's record. You know, obviously the way DJ fights, he keeps working. He never gives up, right? He's always working, always working, always working. And I don't understand how people say he's boring. That's why I tweeted us. Tell me again how he's working. Gets to the 5th round, 3 minutes in. Oh, I don't know. Why don't I just go into a suplex to armbar thing that nobody's ever actually pulled off? Done. And he pulls it. We went absolutely mental watching this at Fox because everybody, and that's to take nothing away from Ray Borg, but you know, we wanted to see DJ pull this off. We really wanted to see him make history. We really were rooting for the guy. He's such a good guy, so talented, all this other stuff. So there was a lot of real goodwill on our end toward DJ, trying to help, you know, really wanting to see him pull this off. And then when he did it with that move, nobody was on their feet. Everybody standing just oh!
That's exactly how I was.
It was awesome. I thought that was just amazing. I just loved it.
When he pulled that move off and he got in the armbar position, he was having trouble finishing it. I was rooting. I was like, oh my God, let him get this finish, because it's like having the beautiful knockout and then the guy gets up and it's like, damn, that would have been a highlight finish. But so I was really hoping that he would get it. Ray Borg, I don't know if this was on purpose or not, but one of the best defenses for when you're in a deep armbar is getting off the ground like that. Then he's kind of just bending your arm like this rather than, it's hard to explain, but that is a defense, the way he was kind of having his body facing away. The best example I can give is if you saw Werdum when he battled, what is his name, the Brazilian that Renato Laranja is always giving crap to.
Magalhães?
Yes! She knows everything. Vinny Magalhães, I messed up his name, versus Werdum. And,
oh my God, his arm would not go.
Exactly. If you guys check out that video,
it's rubber.
Vinny applied the same defense, which is if there's nowhere to go, nowhere to defend, if I can get my shoulder off the ground, then he's kind of moving my shoulder right here rather than tapping the arm's not isolated in a sense. So anyway, it was just like that where Werdum could not finish Vinny Magalhães, and I just screwed his name up even more in a full-on locked-on armbar, and it was the same position.
Right.
Thank God DJ made you know, got the thumb up, elbow down.
I was just gonna say, and it also depends on how the arm is.
Where the arm is. I was thinking that for a second he might just have to go and trap it underneath his arm, kind of like Ronda Rousey did a couple times, and then elevate his hips from there. He was able to pull it off. I was screaming from the top of my lungs because that was such a great move, and we were chatting about this before the show. That move, I guarantee you, I don't guarantee you, I give you 90% guarantee that it originated from, there's a wrestling move where you go for a suplex, and when you elevate the guy, instead of continuing with the suplex, you go double underhooks in the armpits, and then you kind of they say suck it in. You suck them down real quick and drop them on the ground, and it's very uncomfortable if you go up in the air and then somebody brings your upper body down. And so I bet you DJ had been doing that traditional wrestling move, and then he said, you know what, if I'm going to bring the guy down with the underhook, I'm just going to keep one and then lock up the armbar. He did so in amazing fashion, but that is what, you know, we talk about playing video games, and that's kind of the mystique about DJ, is that he's like, it's like his coaches are playing a game and he's the character, but to still be inventing moves at this stage in the game. The MMA has been around for a while now. The UFC has been around for a while now. When we saw the Showtime kick, we were like, holy shit, and then everybody started doing it. When we see new moves, it's so exciting that the sport is still growing and still evolving, and now what we're seeing is not only new moves, but we're seeing transitions from wrestling to jiu-jitsu, certain transitions that we never thought about before. So what a way to break the record on such a big card in such dramatic fashion, creating a new move that we have never seen before. Props to DJ.
So cool. Yeah, and he said, you know, that they worked on it in the gym all the time.
He's working on it.
I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, like, and then to be able to actually pull that out, like, I never had that presence of mind, because like he was saying, you know, yeah, he's there, and he's like, realize, hey, actually, wow, I got enough energy left. Like I'm feeling good. I know this is 5th round. He's like, I can actually do this.
I'll go for it.
And like pulled it off. And then I'm just even thinking, like, I know you just broke it down, which was great, but even just to think about it in your head, the mechanics, because it makes me think that at one point, like, DJ's also in the air, right? You know what I mean? Because if I'm suplexing and then I'm jumping into, like, there's moments there where there's just bodies in the air flying, and yet he's already halfway sinking in.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Let the bodies hit the floor. I just think it's so cool. And he did say that. He said that Matt Hume is the guy with the controllers, and DJ is the character out there playing, which is so cool when you think about it, because they really do have that great relationship. That I think it's amazing. I think DJ's amazing. And the thing about it is obviously he could keep going. He could keep going in this division and breaking the records. Or he could move up and weight. I know a lot of people want him to fight TJ or something like that. I don't know how you feel about it. Like, if you think Demetrious has to fight a 35er to prove something to somebody. Because people, you know, oh, he's cleaned out the division. Oh, it's up because he's up against weak division. I don't think those people are weak fighters.
Yeah.
He's just that much better.
This is my thoughts on it, Karyn. DJ, props to you for standing your ground and wanting this fight. Even myself wanted to see you fight somebody like a TJ Dillashaw or a super fight. You stood your ground, and what you did is you made your stock go up so much higher. He said, I'm going to stay. I want to fight my division. I want to wipe out my division, and I want to break the record. In doing so, he stood his ground. He broke the record. Now he's considered the GOAT, so he has that label now. He has that on his resume. While doing it, he did so, as we just discussed, in dramatic fashion, a move that we have never seen before. Now, the ball is in his court, okay? If he would have put on a boring fight or went up and did a super fight for a little bit of quick money and lost or not been entertaining, then the ball wouldn't be in his court, and he doesn't have the resume that it is now. Now he's considered the greatest fighter. We're not talking about the greatest UFC flyweight. We're talking about the greatest fighter of all time. Nobody has defended a title like that in real fighting, not just boxing or any other combat sport. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest fighter of all time. He's got an amazing win streak, and he's doing moves like this, finishing guys in fights. He's beating guys at what they do best in every fight. The ball is in his court now. He has the resume to show it. Now he can do whatever he wants. If I'm him, I say, look, I want to fight whoever I want, and now my payday goes up. And I think people became more of a fan and appreciative of the flyweight division after this fight as well.
I hope so, because you can't, I mean, if you watch his opponents fight other people, you still see great fights, right? So it's not like you sat there and I mean, look, the Pettis Moreno fight was a really fun fight. Do you sit there and go, oh, all these guys suck? No, they just don't look as good as DJ when they get in there with DJ. I don't think people are sitting around saying that last time that Benavidez and Henry Cejudo fought that it sucked, because it didn't. No. You know what I mean? So I disagree with the whole idea that the division is not good, but I agree. The ball's in his court. I'm glad he got that win. Now he can go forward saying whatever, but like, to him, you know, I like that he wasn't forced into a fight with TJ or something, rather than having this opportunity. And granted, he could have fought TJ if TJ made it down to 25, but he's an unproven entity, and then people are like, oh, well, Borg missed before too, but he's a flyweight fighter. Do you know what I mean? So I too would have said, no, give me the guy that's really in this division, as opposed to the guy that is coming down and who you kind of feel like you also sort of felt like, are people sitting there just begging for somebody to beat DJ? Like, I took it as a little bit of a strange thing, sort of like people wanted to see, get a big guy in here to kick his ass. Like, you know what I mean? Not that I don't want to see him fight TJ or Dominic again or something like that, but I just didn't like. I liked the idea of him going for 11 with a true flyweight. Midway through his title run, at 5 or 6 wins on his win streak, people were kind of like, "Well, he doesn't talk enough. He's not that exciting." And I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those guys for a while. I was saying this on the podcast. I'm like, they need to have a smaller cage, because they get a takedown, they get back up. They knock him down, they pop back up. It's like it's not as much danger in the flyweight division. But when you can appreciate pure
martial arts, pure technique, pure innovation during the fight. It's so exciting to watch. And you know, this was my question earlier. It just came back to me. I'm curious what you guys think. What's more impressive to you, Karyn? If DJ, think about this one. If DJ would have said, I came up with that move on the spot.
Right.
Is that more impressive? Or is it more impressive to say, you know what? This is this crazy move, and I practice it in the gym all the time, and then I said, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, and he did it. I go back and forth with it, because you know, if you see something amazing and the guy just goes, yeah, I just kind of came up with that. Then you're like, oh my God, he's the greatest ever. He's a ninja.
But yeah, I get it that improvisation is cool, but I think I like the idea of him knowing in the gym, like repping this thing.
I appreciate that more as a fighter.
Over and over.
I do
what
as
is
well.
the saying? What was Paul saying the other day? Drillers make killers.
That's it.
And like, I like the idea of him going, I'm gonna take the people have seen this. I'm gonna kick it next level with this super sick move.
And I'm gonna put in repetition. I completely agree. You know, like the cartwheel kick, things like that. You don't teach a class about cartwheel kicks, but you do your class, you get the fundamentals, you get the high percentages in, and then at the class or at the end, you put in those back pocket bonus winning moves and you rep them. And then once you get good at it, then you try it out in sparring. And once you have a high percentage in sparring, then you can try it out in the fight. And when guys are able to do it at a high percentage and land it in a fight, a lot of times it's because they put in the groundwork, they set themselves up for success, and he did that. And so I love that. But I'm not gonna lie, if he'd have just said, shit, I just threw that out of my back pocket, I never even tried it before, I'd have been like, damn, give that man $2 million, like, you know.
And by the way, people who think that DJ is just like boring and stuff, he's not. And I know he was joking a lot about his party at the Chateau, but I have been to an after party at the Chateau with DJ. It was actually
what happened? He was at a party?
Yeah, well, he was having his after party. I'm just saying people think he's boring and this and that. Like, hang out with DJ and you'll see that he's not boring. And is all I was gonna say. Like, I've been at his after. It was Tyron's after party, but DJ was there too. Those two guys are quite close. Their wives are tight and everything. DJ's not boring. Like,
was that Tyron's wife?
Yeah, that's
in
Avery.
One of the pictures?
Yeah. So DJ's wife is blonde. That's Destiny, and Avery is Tyron's wife. And yeah, they're good people. When we talk about drillers make killers, when we talk about the reps, how many times? I mean, I don't even know if we could put it to numbers. How many times do you think Fabricio Werdum has drilled the armbar? Like, he had such a strange day. He thinks he's going to fight the Black Beast. 3 hours before, whatever, he finds out, no, I'm not going to be. You know, Derek's hurt. So the story is supposedly that Derek's been dealing with back issues. The morning of the fight, he could barely walk. We were joking it was because after he weighed in, he went and got too many McRib and threw his back out with the McRib.
Don't give up on it, buddy.
But yeah, so supposedly his coaches were saying that he could barely walk Saturday morning, and that, you know, this is a back injury. Long story short, they take Walt Harris away from his fight with Mark Godbeer, and they give Walt Harris, they give him this prime spot on pay-per-view. In a way, you figure the guy's got nothing to lose. If he wins, he beat a former champion. If he loses, well, you were probably expected to lose in a way. So I feel like for Walt Harris, that's kind of a no-brainer to take it, right? You would just say yes, right? I mean,
well, the thing that makes it more enticing to me is, like, I'm curious, like, what happened behind the scenes? Did his manager, you know what I'm saying? Because if the UFC came to me and said, okay, like, we need you to step in and fight Tyron Woodley, I would do it. But I'd also be like, yo, can you talk to my manager real quick? Like, are you guys gonna slide me a 50 grand check just for stepping in the cage with them? And then what happens if I beat him? And you know, like, what kind of bonuses?
What if your original opponent was somebody that you really felt good about beating?
You feel confident about it. It was a striker versus striker. Now you're going striker against grappler and Werdum. It threw him off of his game. Obviously, you were telling me that he's a knockout guy. He's not a ground guy.
Yeah. So all of Walt Harris's wins were by knockouts, and I even have it here. It's like 10 first-round knockouts or something like that, right? So like, that's a legit danger to Fabricio, a guy who, you know, has been knocked out, and who, you know, maybe isn't always the best with his defense. So he legit could have gotten knocked out by Walt Harris.
It looked like Fabricio was going to play the percentages in this one. He said, I'm just going to go in, get that single or double leg, get him to the mat.
Yeah, he had 9 first-round finishes. All of his wins are by KO, though. So 10 knockout finishes for Walt
There you
Harris.
go.
So I would put my damn hands up and I'd take your ass down as fast as I could.
I mean, no disrespect to Walt Harris. Walt Harris, that's what we're doing. But man, talk about an easy payday. I mean, he submits him in 45 seconds or so.
No, it was like 60. Yeah, it was 64 or 68 seconds, something crazy.
And a minute probably didn't even get hit once. and he got a massive payday. You look on there, he was the second or third highest paid guy on the card, from what they're showing at least. Yeah, good payday, but I mean, it probably doesn't do much for him in the climb and the race to the championship. But it's still a big win, and like you said, it's a highlight, and it's a massive payday. And look, he's unhurt now. He can say, look, I'll fight whoever you want. I got 300 grand in my bank account now. I'm doing good. Move forward.
It's good. Yeah, I mean, the thing that is a tricky and a bummer situation was, you know, obviously everybody's trying to get back into that title shot. So Fabricio and Derek Lewis were going to fight. Francis Ngannou and Alistair Overeem are fighting. Yeah. And basically, we know when we talked to Fabricio about this, he said, okay, so if I can beat the Black Beast in like really exciting way, and let's say my finish of the Black Beast or my win over the Black Beast is better than the winner of Francis and Overeem. Like, what if they just have a decision?
Build a case for it. Yeah.
So if I can win in emphatic fashion, I'll make a statement. Or let's say, Ngannou or Overeem wins in a really, great way. Maybe they would get the title shot, or maybe the two winners will fight each other. So now I don't know what that really does for him, because obviously, yes, a win is a win, but Walt Harris isn't the Black Beast. Walt Harris wasn't somebody that, was in that argument for title shots. So I don't know if it's a setback for Fabricio in that way, in the line. Like, so for sure he's second to the winner of Overeem and Ngannou now. Do you know what I mean? Which maybe he would be, because it wasn't the Black Beast that he got to beat.
Yeah, so, I get it. I just, you know how it is. At the end of the day, if you're going home healthy and productive, and you did a good job, and you won your fight, and you have like a highlight reel, and you got paid, it's like, okay, I might not have progressed in terms of rankings, but I definitely didn't fall anywhere. I mean, everybody's still gonna see this, and I made my money. I'm unhurt. I could take a last-minute fight, or let the division play itself out. I would say it's a good thing at the end of the day. It's not what he wanted. It could have been more if he beat the Black Beast, but it's still a good thing at the end of the day with this victory. Yeah,
I agree. And in terms of so the fight of the night did go to Bobby Green and Lando Venata. This is one that we kind of all thought when we saw this one on paper that it could be, and luckily that fight didn't get stopped, because there was a point where Bobby Green was getting lit up, and it looked like the ref could have stomped it. Luckily they didn't. Then he got eye poked. Then he got the
and Lando's face was like he was like eating a dead gazelle or something. He was just like like a lion.
Like he put the other face on his face.
It was crazy. I was like, how is that much blood on his face when it seemed like he was landing more shots, but his face was covered in blood. He was busted up at the end of that fight.
And they had to take him right to the hospital after. I guess he didn't do presser stuff. He went to the hospital. But those guys got fight of the night, which was good.
That guy's a guaranteed bonus guy. I feel like he's gotten bonuses either fight of the night or performance of the night in every one of his UFC fights.
Yeah, for sure. He's really entertaining.
Yeah.
The Beneil fight ended in a draw, which I was okay with. Like, I guess I kind of thought he'd done enough.
I didn't get to watch that.
I was okay with that one being a draw. I wasn't like, oh my God, robbery. I was okay with that.
But it felt like it leaned in favor of who more?
Well, I felt like there was a clear round for each, and then I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. I thought you were hiding something from me. You felt like somebody kind of edged it out.
I'm a friend of Beneil's. Maybe I would subconsciously think that he won.
Okay, so Beneil really won the. I'm not getting anything out of you.
but that was good. We had the first Italian woman in the UFC now, and she. I know. All the guys were like, "You're right. Let's have some."
Oh, is she the one that beat Pearl?
No. That girl.
I didn't get to see a lot of the fights.
So
I had fighters fighting that night, so I was like coaching Muay Thai and watching the fights on my phone.
No, Mara Romero Barella.
Course.
So she's Italian, and she's an ATT girl.
Okay.
So that was cool. First Italian woman in the UFC, and she got a first round victory and everything like that. So that was pretty cool. All in all, I thought it was a fun night. I thought that DJ and Kevin and Tony, those guys paid off at the end. I thought it was cool.
They delivered, and I feel like it was kind of a. it was a weird week with the Vegas tragedy, obviously, and it was kind of like, how are people going to react? Yeah. But all in all, like an overview of it, I feel like, you know, the Vegas Strong, the fighters came together. The company obviously donated a lot of money. Dana White did what he could to kind of show that support. I know he had a little thing in the news media where he was kind of giving it to one of the countries.
Jason Aldean. Well, that's Jason who was on stage when the
incident happened.
And I guess he wanted, you know, the UFC.
He wanted Aldean to come and sing the anthem. Aldean's people said they'd rather not. I think the mix-up was because Aldean's people told Dana he's a little like weird about the stage, which is understandable, but he ended up performing on Saturday Night Live that night. So that might have been where Dana White got so pissed off. I don't know what happened, but I did appreciate Dana trying to bring everybody together, and it seemed like overall it was kind of a good thing for the community. You know?
I think so, and they gave a lot of tickets out.
Yes.
And they had people
first responders, had a bunch of guys
come in to the octagon and stuff. So yeah, and I know, you know, even from, you know, Evie, and I'll do a Trocasau with her this week again, but you know, we were talking and she was saying, but just being there covering stuff, everything was different. Open workouts, there was only like 50 people there.
Oh wow, okay.
She said it was
different
really,
vibe,
just a real different vibe. Like when you're going to the event, just the amount now of the searching and the everything. She said it really it kind of takes away from your like your personhood. You know what I mean? You feel exposed and violated, and then she said, and then you start wondering, oh, is it ever going to go back to normal? And you know, so she said, yeah, it was actually a really trying week, like a difficult week emotionally, you know, trying to do all this stuff. And, you know, she was doing a report one time from Mandalay. You know, she works a lot for Globo. And another thing had happened where they were telling people to leave the hotel. And she doesn't know if she should keep doing a report or go. Like, really, really, really stressful. And we know people that were there. Some of our friends that work for UFC and stuff were there. So is that important? Is that your agent, your manager? Alan did another modeling gig yesterday. It must be one of those.
That's somebody about my truck. I did do a modeling gig yesterday. What's it called? I didn't mean to change the subject.
No, I was done talking. I wanted to. It was point to the easy.
But to finish up on it. Oh yeah, here's a picture. There's a great photographer. The girl in the middle, not my wife in the black, but the girl on the side of her is Stevie Dance. Fantastic photographer. The girl on the left is what did I say her name was? Haley.
Oh, yeah.
Haley Baldwin.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did a shoot for the Arena Home magazine, but it was cool. It was cool. A lot of Off-White brand was one clothing line, and Art Dad was another one. Guess what? You got the best Art Dad for the job. So yeah, me and Cage got to do a job together. So that's always fun.
And that's for print then, if it's for Arena.
Print job.
So that's usually what, a 4-month lead time. What is it? A spring magazine? What's the?
Damn.
Editorial.
You know it all. I don't even know. I don't even know.
Because usually the editorial, I thought, was like several months in advance. So
you're right.
It's October. You might have been doing something for March, spring.
You're right, Karyn. I wish I knew more about that. I let my people take care of that stuff.
Let my people take care of it.
I just show up with my.
So speaking of your people, last week you teased us saying you were going to be going to train with Michael Bisping and Anderson Silva. What happened with either of those? Did those come together?
Anderson thing, we're trying to make it happen this week. Anderson obviously is preparing for Kelvin Gastelum fighting on my birthday, I believe. Trying to help out. When is that?
That's when? November
25th.
We have a birthday episode of the show.
Oh look, can you send something?
Oh, can he send something?
Yeah, but there's just no time.
No, we can't.
Too late now. But so anyway, so I'm trying to get time in. It's tough, man, because I'm here in the Valley. I already drive an hour to Black House a couple days a week, and then Bisping is 2-hour drive for me. He's in Costa Mesa, and then Anderson Silva's far as well. But I did go last week to Costa Mesa to the Ruka gym, and sparred with Bisping. He had me there, and he had Brennan Ward. Brennan Ward is a welterweight from Bellator. He's a kind of a hard hitter wrestler. So he kind of gives Bisping the look of GSP in terms of punches to takedowns. He's more of the wrestler. I come in on the second half of sparring, and I'm more of kind of like the dynamic, switch it up, kicks, things like that. But great stuff. Bisping went all 5 rounds, new partners. 2 rounds with Brennan Ward, 3 rounds with me, back to back to back. So as always, Bisping has that superpower of being good at everything and not getting tired. And I see that being what's going to benefit him the most in this fight.
I think so too. I think he has a really good chance of beating George.
I think so
for
too.
sure. I'm glad you guys were able to get some work in. But yeah, hopefully you and Anderson can
work
it out.
Yeah,
He's normal.
We're gonna see. I'd love to get some work in with Anderson, but damn, it's tough driving 2 hours to the gym every day, 2 hours back. It's a commitment. So
it is.
We'll see what happens.
But so for you, do you have anything not yet on the books yet, right? Because I know you wanted to take some time and work on some stuff. So are you trying to figure out when you would fight next?
I was playing with the idea of fighting in Fresno December 9th, I believe. I'm playing with the idea of fighting in Vegas December 30th.
Yep.
All of those I'm up for. I'm just kind of waiting to see. I got new management, Janus Sports agency, so they're going to take it over from now. I was kind of managing myself for a little bit, which was not exhausting, but it's easier to have somebody do the business and let me just focus on fighting. So now that I have them doing that, I'm excited to work with them. They're going to help me figure it out. But, you know, the UFC called me over the weekend, and they're trying to break into the Asian market a little bit more. They wanted me to go to Korea and China next week for like over a week and kind of do some of the, you saw...
Are you going?
I told them, I said, I'd probably be down to do it. I just need to know some details. But I said, let me know and I'll do it. And
we have friends in Shanghai. I'll hook you up.
There you go. So I told him, you know, just let me know that it's like a week long, a lot of travel. But, you know, it's good to go out there. And if the UFC kind of entrusts me of being kind of an ambassador for the brand and go out there and meet some fans, it's always fun. So we're going to see Reed Harris with the UFC told me today the dates of leaving next week, which is so soon. Probably not working out, but it might happen later. So with that said, the reason I'm saying that is because there's just a bunch going on. So I'm trying to figure out what the UFC wants me to do in terms of like helping promote certain things, or if they want me to fight right away. But either way, end of the year, early next year is the scheduled time that I'm looking to fight.
I like it, and I like the idea of you going over there as an ambassador. I think that would be really cool.
They're like that Allen guy. Cool. He speaks okay. He looks kind of Asian. Maybe we'll just ship him to China.
Just Asian-y enough.
Yeah, he's Asian. He'll do.
Got a Thai wife. I mean, I will say this.
It'll work.
It's close enough. That's which is so rude. That's what I was going to say. Like, I do think there is a certain amount of just from Americans and just in general, some people who just kind of lump all Asians together.
There you go.
And which is terrible.
People always tell me, they're like, "You're not Asian." I'm like, "Not."
But everybody, and people ask me all the time. They're like, "What's Allen?" I'm like, "I don't know. He's from Louisiana." Like, it's just it's
just a mixture of crap. Yeah.
But
good crap.
Good crap and gumbo.
Yeah.
If you go, though, no, for sure, because our friend ran the Rannick Ultimate Fighting over there. So you know this whole mixed martial arts organization that H.E.A.T we've worked with before, and Joel's a really good guy, and he's like real dialed into the community there, and so that would actually be really cool.
And such a smart move for the UFC. I mean, the Asian market's such a huge market. They have a bunch of other promotions over there right now, but yeah, if we could start getting more shows, I think it was.
Tell them I should go with you, and MMA Heat should just go and film the whole thing. I mean, they don't need to send
I come with my own production.
Yeah, I mean, because we actually don't have a UFC tonight next week. I'm pretty sure I'm free.
There we go.
My passport's up to date.
It was the 18th to the 24th. Reed said those dates might not work, but it was South Korea and then Shanghai. Unless you wanted to go north.
No, thank you. See, Rocket Man.
Rocket Man, there we go. I'm good.
Y'all go over there and just try to diffuse the situation. Didn't they send Rodman over there one time where Rodman went on his own?
Yeah, if they send Rodman, then they can send us.
Well, I think that would be very cool. So, also, if you guys want to check out MMA Help, we have some footage. This is something that Wade is doing with another friend. It's a lot of instructional videos, and he's got Fabricio Werdum doing pad work over at King's, and that's another one of those cool 360 videos that people can see. So you can go to MMAHelp.com, or you can find MMA Help on social media and stuff and find it. But there's a lot of stuff there already, and that's going to be getting built up with instructional clips and techniques and all that kind of stuff.
We haven't officially launched.
Yeah, it's kind of in the beta.
You'll see.
It's in the Charlie stage. It's not even. It's in the Delta, Echo, Foxtrot. I learned the whole thing. Wade had his pilot's license at one point. He taught me the whole damn thing.
I do, man.
Alpha, Beta, Charlie.
Wade's
Delta,
got a pilot license.
Echo, Alpha, Bravo. Yeah, it's not even Beta, Bravo. Charlie,
well, you
Delta,
probably
Echo.
see me and Kenny making a little appearance in there as well, so it'll be good. Check it out.
It'll be cool stuff. So we have UFC Now this week, tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow,
you and I
think it might be me and you and or Brian Ortega or Ken Flo.
Might be Flo, because I feel like Bisping wants to focus on his training right now. So I don't.
Yeah.
I think Mike is taking.
I saw Bisping was in. I mean, obviously he was
had
in
to go to
Vegas,
for the press conference, right?
And he did Conan O'Brien the other day.
He did.
So he's been all over. I didn't get to see it. I thought he did
a pretty good job. You know, Michael just went out there and takes the piss out of everybody, which is what he does. So it was Michael being Michael, which I thought was kind of fun. But yeah, so we have UFC now. This week I can't remember. I think we don't have UFC tonight and stuff like that. But we'll figure it out. And again, I said Evie and I will get another Trocasau there because she's got some insight from being at the event, and I'm sure she talked to Fabricio too and got more insight on that whole switch up. Which is a little bit crazy. What were you gonna say?
It seems like you're wrapping up, but you haven't taken any questions.
Okay, yeah, we can take some questions. Yeah.
Bring them on.
I've been promising you will.
Okay.
So, there's some people saying before we say Demetrious is the GOAT, he needs to fight Dominic Cruz again.
Somebody was going to say that.
Avenge that loss.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, he's still the GOAT. It doesn't matter. He could. I would like to see him fight and do a super fight and fight other people, but it doesn't mean he's still done something that nobody has ever done. He's the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time.
And also, I think
that was back in 2011.
Yeah, but I also just think that like. Technically, when you just watch his technique, he's flawless. Like, that's just awesome. I don't need to see him necessarily fight a bigger person or whatever to prove that he's great.
That's exactly right. I mean, you fight in your division, and we want to see super fights, but when he lost, he was not fighting in his division, right? He was fighting at 35 or something like that. So he lost in a different division. Even if it was in his division, he's since then went on a tear and proved himself, and he's just done such phenomenal stuff that he is the GOAT. I don't think there's you can't really argue it, or we are.
We are, apparently you can argue it.
But he's done enough. He is the GOAT. Yeah, he's done it. If he does step up another division, win or lose, I think it doesn't really detract from what he's done because it's your division. I mean, it's not like...
If you went up and fought at heavyweight and lost, would I be like, oh, man, you know what, you're a chump. I'd
doesn't
be like,
matter.
You fought a dude that's way bigger.
Same thing with Mayweather. If Mayweather, and it's different in boxing, because boxing is like a different division every 3 pounds or something like that. But still, if Mayweather went up 10 pounds and lost, he's still done what he has at that division or in those lower divisions for so long. So yeah, DJ, well deserved. He's the GOAT.
He's the man.
There's some newcomers. One, they didn't realize Alan was a model, so now they know.
You didn't?
How did you not know?
Wait, let me give you my 3/4. Okay, it's a light.
Oh, is this another person going, why does she have Alan on again?
And two, they didn't realize. Why is
Alan is on all the time. So, wow, she must like him.
70 shows some odd later.
It's like people catch on.
You need a dime piece.
We do like him, but
Most podcasts have like comedians, funny guys, dime pieces. You gotta have something like that.
We have models.
We do. That's why. Because this is a show for girls. We're finally turning it around. We're making the boys the eye candy. How do you like that?
Yeah. That's what's up.
Badass.
I was a model in the younger days, Now I just do the big money jobs.
Now you just do the big money jobs.
Although they didn't pay me for the editorial shoot I did this weekend.
They didn't?
But you don't get paid for editorial. Or maybe you get paid $100, but I don't see that crap.
Yeah.
What's $100, Karyn?
I mean, what else? Any more questions?
What else we got, guys?
You guys covered a lot of the stuff.
I'm sorry, we didn't. I had a lot going on Friday, and I didn't get to watch all the Bellator. I know we have new champs there. I will be interviewing Gegard in an hour. So you guys, I don't know.
What's up with that? Is Gegard fighting
Shlemenko on the 20th, and so I am going to talk to him in like an hour. Wait, is it? That's. Yeah.
Bellator kickboxing was dope. I watched that one. It was, I don't know what they're doing, why they're doing this, but the kickboxing, Bellator kickboxing, it happened 3 or 4 weeks ago. It aired just recently. It's frustrating because you kind of know the results, but they're not allowed to post what all happened. But it was some great fights.
Joe Schilling threw down?
Joe Schilling murked his guy. And then Kevin Ross, phenomenal performance. He got a belt in Bellator kickboxing. Man, I'm trying to remember all the other performances, but a bunch of great fights. Watch that. It's fun to watch those.
Cool. So
Cody, the guy with the back problems, he wants me to let you know, thanks for the advice. He used some rubber bands and it's helping.
Really? Look at that.
I'm so happy it worked.
We're helping people.
Because if you'd have came back and if Cody would have been like, you screwed me up, Alan and Karyn. Sorry.
There's another question. Is that this is for
I'm sorry,
fun?
Betting Armsy. She's coming in the shot here.
For fun but serious question. They want to know, Karyn, is Kenny Florian ever in a bad mood?
I mean, yeah, I've seen Kenny. I wouldn't say a bad mood, like angry. If anything, sometimes he's maybe more thoughtful.
Obviously, like...
Yeah, there were some things, obviously, his brother passed away. That was obviously incredibly hard. So it's a different side of Kenny. But, Kenny's a guy who does meditation. He does a lot of stuff. Like, he's very... conscious of his mental health, I think, and taking care of that and stuff. So I don't know that I've ever seen him in a bad mood. I mean, all of us have, kind of ups and downs, but for the most part, I mean, if you get to be around me, a clearly instant mood elevator.
Karyn told me when I met her that she makes everyone better.
I actually do.
And she's right.
I actually do.
Because I'm killing it now. And when we first met, I sucked. So.
No, you did. But if you go back historically and look at some of my co-hosts and things like that, they've gone on to great things. Well, I've done okay, but I'm
sure we're gonna see what's gonna happen. And to answer your question as well, from me working with Ken Flo, he's just, his personality is just like, he lets stuff roll off his shoulders. He knows how to take a joke. He likes to, he knows how to bring the energy up on camera and jab at you and keep everything playful. Doesn't think anything personal. So he's a cool dude.
He's a great guy. I love working with him. Are you kidding me?
I got another question. He's really wants answered from Roll One, Smoke One.
Roll One, Smoke One.
Puff pass.
Yeah.
It was taken, so we had to do Roll One.
What do you think about Kevin Lee versus Mickey Gall?
Oh,
Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall.
No, why?
Wait, I thought that Mickey Gall might have had a fight booked already.
Mickey Gall, speak about getting murked. Didn't murk him? Why would we do that fight?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. But I thought he
Mickey Gall does have a fight.
Right, somebody called him out, or
well, it's because Kevin wants to go up and wait.
Right.
Mickey says he wants to fight him. So
yeah,
but
I thought
Mickey,
I saw
now
some.
You don't get the guy's coming off a title fight now.
But
I don't think. I mean, granted, he's going to a new division, so he doesn't get to go. Right to the top or anything like that.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. You talked, and look, Kevin Lee's a great, phenomenal fighter, but he talked his way into this position with respect. He talked his way into this position. So to go back down, even though Mickey's somewhat of a familiar name in UFC, but to go back down doesn't make any sense at all.
No, and I don't think Mickey's ready for that shot. I mean, how about we build people? Like, nobody wants to take time and build anymore, which is, again, part of the reason why I have so much respect for Tony, putting together a 10-fight win streak. And Tony just said, who's the next guy? I'll knock him out.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6 went up the list.
Who's the next guy? I'll knock him out. So he didn't ask for anything that he didn't feel like he deserved or earned. Even though there were times when we were like, I wonder if he should just ask for a title. For the title shot. So I think it's cool to build people up and let them take some time to develop as a fighter. So
yeah, it was risky stuff, but it paid off.
Yep.
What was I gonna say? Oh, last thing, or one of the last things. Saki got a new fight, they said today. Khalil Roundtree's my boy. I feel bad because it's so fun rooting for Saki.
I know.
Now he's fighting somebody who I know and I like and I enjoy rooting for.
Dude.
Khalil's a striker. He'll probably strike with him. I don't know. It's an exciting fight, but
somebody's head is getting knocked off.
I don't want my boy to be a part of a highlight reel.
No.
But I will say this: Khalil Roundtree is very explosive. He's got he used to be at Black House and he's given Anderson Silva some tough times. He's given Lyoto Machida some tough times. He could give high-level strikers tough times. I know those guys aren't on the same page as Saki in terms of true striking, but he's very explosive and good striking, and he could land something if Saki doesn't keep everything tight. Yeah,
and he's not going to go to the ground. I mean, it's like a perfect fight for Saki. I love that they, people could complain, but you don't want to see somebody take Saki down. You just
if some no-name wrestler takes Saki down for 3 rounds, it's
well, no, what's the point?
What a waste.
And Khalil doesn't want to go to the ground.
Yeah.
Saki doesn't want to go to the ground. That's like a serious grab your popcorn to sit down and be like,
big time.
Hell
big time.
I love that.
Alan, Marcus Bennett's wondering, why haven't we seen as many Muay Thai fighters transition to MMA like we've seen Dutch kickboxers?
Why haven't we seen more Muay Thai guys?
Just straight up Muay Thai.
Compared to the Dutch kickboxers, like Anthony Hardong, Pat Barry.
Yeah. That's kind of an interesting question. Can you
think of anything?
Well, I think I would say this, both of them have pros and cons. The pros for Muay Thai has more pros in coming to MMA, in my opinion, because the clinch. Right. Muay Thai guys are really good at the clinch. They've got really good sweeps, plus they're used to the knees and elbows. So that's the overall the martial art that I would say to train. The pros for Dutch kickboxing is they're more fluid with the combos. You know, they've got better 1, 2, 3 liver shot, low kick. They put them together where Muay Thai is more single shot at a time. And
just the way you guys sort of march in sometimes. Can be sometimes I've seen guys where they're like seem a little too flat-footed or something like that. You know what I mean?
That you reminded me of my point. Thank you. The Muay Thai guys too, the hardcore Muay Thai guys that fight traditional Muay Thai is predominantly back foot, all your weight on your back foot. So it doesn't lend itself to aggressive MMA fighting where there's such a far distance you have to cover. They like the so if you're a hardcore Muay Thai guy, you're probably you're used to playing the T push kick game, putting your weight on your back foot. That doesn't lend itself to MMA as well as the more evenly distributed weight that the Dutch Muay Thai fighters, kickboxers use. So both of them have pros and cons, but obviously I would take a guy who's back foot heavy in Muay Thai and teach him how to have a better footwork, knowing that he's so good at knees, elbows, and clinch already, rather than a Dutch guy who has maybe a little bit better hands, but hasn't been polishing those weapons over the years. But I hope that answered your question.
There you go.
There you go.
How could it not?
That was so detailed. It was perfect. It's like I've gotten better over the years.
Anything else? Anything else?
Cool.
You want to get some camera time, Pop? Oh, yeah.
Come here.
Oh, yeah.
Come here. You cute tip.
Oh, hello.
Look at her.
Hello.
Damn,
hello. Okay, cool.
Hey.
So again, this week we'll have we should have a Trocasau, have the Gay Guard interview, and probably be able to line up some other interviews as well for some things that are coming up in the future. So I just can't remember who's fighting. Everybody, there's so many, so I will get on it and get cranking on some interviews. Until then, I'm Karyn Bryant on Twitter. That's Karyn. And on Instagram, KB Heat. Also, we have Trocasau MMA on Facebook and Twitter, and MMA Heat, obviously, everywhere across the board as well.
Yep, I'm Alan Jouban across the board on all social media, so check it out, guys.
Cool. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye. Good girl. Good girl.